You're watching The Business of Law, brought to you by Bloomberg Law and the ABA Journal. I'm Lee Pacquiao. Marketing a law firm's services is generally a pretty staid task. You put an ad out here or there, maybe you sponsor a conference or a golf tournament, that kind of thing. My guest today is coming off one of the more interesting takes in law firm marketing. His firm put together an extremely professional 35-minute film to educate prospective clients on corporate governance issues.
As expected, Martel International's full-year results announced this morning showed a 6% drop in revenue and 9% drop in profits against the previous year. Martel's share price dropped sharply in early trading before recovering.
The salary I can live with. But the way I calculate it, if our new man hits his first-year targets, the bonus will be more than triple his salary.
We need to pay the market rate to get this guy.
I think we need to be ready to respond to concerns that will be raised by some members of the board about any such acquisition. They won't like the risks associated with any such undertaking in that region.
Do you still think you can turn it around quickly?
Hope so. There's a lot riding on it. We'll be a target again if we fall short of this year's forecasts.
What happens if someone gets us into trouble in the meantime? Who's going to get the blame for that? Not him, I bet.
You might be right about the third party, but it's very vague.
Even so, it's a serious allegation.
Which may be difficult to disprove if we don't know what we're looking for.
Some of our best salespeople are threatening to quit if internal audit continues to treat them as suspects.
I'm struggling to justify to Bob why the investigation should last a day longer.
We're joined now by Duncan Wiggetts, partner at Dechert LLP. In addition to holding down a practice on corporate governance and internal investigations, he wrote the screenplay for the drama entitled A Price Worth Paying. He joins us now from London. Duncan, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
This project looks absolutely great. I got to ask, how much did it cost at the end of the day? It's awfully slick.
The film total cost was about £70,000 sterling, maybe $100,000 all in, which is, I think, pretty good value for what we got.
It's hard to sell something like this in Hollywood, but that's really nothing compared to what it must have been an extremely tough sell to the other partners at Dechert. How did this all work?
Well, there's a past history before Dechert in that I've made 3 films previously. I started this initiative when I was a senior counsel at PricewaterhouseCoopers, really as a tool to try and get auditors to challenge more and ask more questions, which morphed into a corporate governance initiative. The Dechert partners had seen the film I'd done previously for DLA Piper at events in the US, and were quite excited about how this could be used as a business development tool. I discussed with them some of the concepts we might be able to use to alter and change the focus. But there was fantastic enthusiasm from the Dechert partners right from the start.
Can you walk me through the process of what it's like working on a project like this? Do you have a background in creative media or film?
Absolutely no background at all. If somebody had asked me 8 years ago whether I'd make even one film, I'd have laughed out loud because I had no artistic background at all. And I kind of been doing a lot of pinching myself recently, pinching myself that I've got a 4th film, pinching myself that I was presenting at the NASDAQ last week. It was and at the London Stock Exchange before that. It still seems quite surreal.
So where do you begin? I mean, you're starting with essentially no background in this. Do you pick an area of the law that you want to focus on and come up with a narrative film about, or is there some other way that you approach it?
Well, I look at some of the issues and some of the difficulties I've seen companies struggle with, both in terms of what's covered in the media and also in terms of some of the client issues I've been involved in. And I think some of the films are collages of certain aspects or certain phrases or certain meetings I've been at, all pieced together, and trying to bring out showing either bad behaviour or bad decision making in order to be there as a graphic learning tool as to maybe where things can go wrong and consequences of bad actions. Yeah,
I sensed a strong autobiographical element to this work. The meetings in particular came off as quite realistic. You could almost tell a lawyer had a hand in writing this.
Well, the lawyer had a hand in writing this, but this film, the 4th film, I've had more input from outside than before. And what I mean by outside is that in the course of the 3 previous films, I've got a number of directors who are very enthusiastic about what I do. And a number of them this time not only took part in the sort of the due diligence sessions I did before the creative process started to find out what they wanted to see in the new film, what issues they wanted to bring out, but actually a couple of directors stuck with the whole project all the way through. So what you're seeing in the film is actually in part been as a result of suggestions made by them as to the issues they would like me to cover, because issues they wanted to discuss amongst their own board. And that's been fantastic to have that level of input from very experienced chairmen. You almost get buy-in from your target audience before you actually start off in the creative process.
Sure, yeah, I want to get to that notion of the target audience here. This is such an unusual undertaking for any law firm out there. I got to say, at the end of the day, how does the law firm measure success here?
It's difficult to measure success in strictly tangible terms. I mean, what we're trying to do with this film at Dechert is it's meant to be a profile-raising tool, particularly for the firm outside of the US, where it's not a lot less known than it is in the US, and also an opportunity for us to demonstrate the breadth of our expertise across our practice in different areas which are relevant to the film, such as employment law, M&A, as well as sanctions, white-collar crime and securities litigation, but also the breadth of the firm's international expertise in those areas. So it's an opportunity because the film splits into 4 parts, and we facilitate workshops and discussions where we can bring in our specialist lawyers to talk a bit about, analyse the issues in the film and talk about how things could have gone better. Also, it's a fantastic tool in order to generate new contacts, because we put on big events. We work with professional associations and organisations who invite their members to come along, and we get invited into new places, and we get to know new executive management teams, new boards of directors, new general counsel, and those contacts either will produce an immediate need for work, or alternatively can be developed as a long-term potential client opportunity.
Right, that's exactly where I want to go next. Has this film translated into new business for Dechert?
Well, we've only just launched the film, so it would be premature at the moment to sort of evaluate where we've got new business from. But certainly the films I've made before have generated great business opportunities for both PricewaterhouseCoopers and for DLA Piper, ranging from phone calls from directors in trouble wanting some advice and representing them in terms of investigations, through to directors seeing the film and wondering how good their compliance policies are and asking us to review and update them, through to actually I was engaged around my last film to devise a corporate governance training program for a Middle Eastern sovereign wealth fund to train the directors that they put on the boards of their investment vehicles. Yeah. So all sorts of things can flood from this. Yeah,
I gotta say, at the end of the day, it was informative and entertaining. I recommend everyone go check it out. But are you going to do another? I always thought a free fall bankruptcy or an M&A transaction would lend well to the big screen. What's the next project you're thinking about?
I've not started thinking about the next project, quite frankly. There's a reason why I do these things once every 3 years. It's because it takes a year of my life and emotional input to try and create it. It takes a year of my life to fly around the world and try to start rolling these things out, and a year off to think about new ideas and to spend more time with the family before I pick up the pen and start doing it again.
Right on. Duncan Wiggetts from the law firm Dechert, thank you so much for your time today, sir. If you'd like to learn more about the issues we just discussed, be sure to go check out our offerings on BloombergLaw.com and also on the Bloomberg Terminal. You can see more of our videos on YouTube, and you can follow our updates, of course, on Twitter. I'm Lee Pacquiao. Thanks for watching.